Life is a lot like Lego. It's bricks. It's the tiny interconnecting and precisely engineered toy you can build with. You can form like a gazillion of different variations of designs. And these different designs would then become part of the fantasy world you built. So much like twisting balloons, you know, the one at parties, you can easily make yourself a rapier, a crown, a cute poodle even. And beyond that, you can also make yourself a life-size space fighter jet, just like this one. A habitable house in England countryside. And of course, a living, breathing world inhabited by tiny plastic people. Stretching it even further, you can find your path to Zen just by reflecting on all things Lego. Not that far, but there's some truth to it. I should know because, like he has said, my career was built piece by piece out of Lego. This is me. I'm a Lego model designer with Miniland Studios, Malaysia. Over 2,000 days ago, or about 5.5 years ago, in February 2010, the cornerstone of my career was put in place. I was then a Lego model builder, one of 6 from our very recently set up Pioneer team, which is based in Malaysia. And that was when I got the brief for my first ever assignment, the Church of the Immaculate Conception in Johor Bahru. Some of you might know this place. The task was simple enough. Design and build a highly recognizable Lego replica of an existing building according to a certain scale, using an assortment of pictures as a reference. This is my grandfather's house back in Kuching, by the way. Oh, and a box with the length and the width of the model, but not the height, because apparently that's why they give you the scale to begin with. So, in other words, they give you the footprint. So like I said, simple enough, no biggie. So, in a group of 2, my partner and I started planning how to tackle this project and laid down the foundation of the Lego model. And at the same time, without realizing it, I started piecing together my personal project using the odd Lego elements I found along the way. That is how we refer to the Lego pieces, as elements. An element to Lego is like a person to people. So it doesn't matter what shape, size, or color. It's still a Lego element. The task proved to be challenging. Simple, yes, but it wasn't easy. There were many things that we have to take into consideration. The structure, the logistics, the dimensions and scale, and of course, the design and looks, to name but a few. Even the simple fact that we use Lego as our built material poses a challenge. See, like any other medium of artistic expression, Lego has its own advantages and limitations. Seeing that we only use Lego pieces that are available in the retail box sets, nothing custom, just things from the box sets, you can imagine how challenging it can be to recreate the wide range of details available around us. Lucky for us, a highly experienced Lego model designer from our sister studio, Miniland Studios Billund in Denmark, was flown in and assigned to monitor and guide us for the first batch of models built locally. What left the deepest impression weren't his expertise or wealth of knowledge, but the role he played and how he played them. He didn't come as a fixer, but as a friend and mentor who nurtured, encouraged, and instilled confidence in our team. Instead of telling us what to do, he taught us the ABCs of Lego design and build so that we can read the Lego language. So we can then form words and construct sentences in Lego form. He showed us the ropes, shared some life hacks of the trade, all the while helping us formulate deep understanding and giving time for us to internalize what we're taught and shared until these tools became part of us, an extension of our senses. In other words, he handed us the Lego elements and guided us in forming a solid foundation for our work in progress, both literally and figuratively. But his most profound message is, do not be afraid of making mistakes. That's how you learn. Two of our team members, including myself, had the privilege of being trained by him in Billund, Denmark, around fall of 2009. And during that time, he actually encouraged us to make mistakes. Can you believe that? Like, nobody does that, right? And in many situations, mistakes by newbies are at most tolerated. And he just went the other way completely. He would actually say, why are you not making any mistakes when things went a little too perfectly for us? So time flies by, and after months of hard work, this is the result. What you see here, thank you. What you see here is an outcome deeply influenced by external factors, not much in the design and the looks that you can see, but in the intangible factors that played major roles in shaping the physical outcome. And not all of these external influences we have control on. The partner assigned to us, for example, or which model was assigned to us. But it doesn't matter whether we have control over these external influences or otherwise. All of them have some degree of influence on this project and on the people who worked on us. And these influences would have permanent impact, no matter how small. Let's fast forward to October 2010. I had just completed another model, the Johor Bahru railway station, when I was assigned to help another Lego model designer with a massive model that has just been released for production in our local studio. The first thing he asked, have you ever used this software before? He was referring to a commercial 3D computer graphics and CAD software he was using. So he asked, have you ever used this software before? And my reply was, I didn't even know that software existed. He proceeded to show me the commonly used tools, navigating the views, drawing a line, moving an object, while sharing and explaining the extent of his planning and design on the model. Luckily, being a multimedia student, being exposed to a number of different software day in and day out helped me form some understanding on the logics of tools organization in software, which in turn helped me cope a lot quicker. Designing and planning a Lego model using software is a new thing to me, or a team for that matter. Notice the guy to the left? No, right. We used to do it the old-fashioned way, by pencil and paper. We would draw lines on special grid paper and then try to convert the line into Lego form. At times, we might simply figure out the size of a detail in scale and then proceed to build a prototype based on a reference picture or two. But what never changed in all of those instances was we need to be able to visualize what we're planning on doing. Not just the details that are visible, but also anticipate whatever complication a decision might bring. For example, a set of repetitive details can be easily mass-produced, but failing to anticipate how to place them on the main model or how it would fit into another section that was built separately could lead to a lot of time wasted and a lot of Lego wasted. And everybody knows, waste equals money. And in our case, a lot of money. So, using the software, things got a lot easier. Planning, especially for big models, could take a lot less time and paper to accomplish. It's even possible to design the details virtually. Sure, you still have to anticipate and visualize like we used to do, but the help of a very precise visual aid makes everything so much easier. Given the designer's progress on the on the design and planning of the model, he started assigning design tasks to me. In other words, I would be designing a particular detail to be handed off to another model builder to be built. I would also have to plan the logistics, which pieces should be mass-produced. How many pieces of each design do you have to copy? How will the pieces fit together? Those were some of the issues that I have to deal with. Then, more and more tasks with increasing level of responsibility was handed to me. From designing individual details, I was assigned to design and plan sections. And after a couple of months, what was left to be designed and planned on the building was officially handed over to me. After working on the model on and off for more than 1 year, facing a million different challenges in many different forms, with full support from a local team, it's finally completed. I present to you Putra Mosque. Thank you. Now, that's quite a big model, don't you agree? To think I played a role in making that happen is mind-blowing to me, even until now. Personally, what I think made all the difference in this case was how I decided to respond to the challenge I faced. Instead of acting negatively, maybe like giving excuses like, oh, I'm too new, or I wasn't good enough for this, or, that kind of crap, I opted to be positive and view things with an open mind. That in turn translates into proactive actions, which I really need in order to accomplish the task effectively. Just imagine if I had been stubborn and insisted to stick to the old ways just because I'm used to it, or taking for granted the opportunity to gain a new set of skills and exposure to new knowledge, simply because I didn't want to start from scratch again. Would it then be possible to plan such a big model? Honestly, the answer is yes. But with a lot more frustrations and headaches, and all the unnecessary stress they bring, I would spend more time trying to stay on top of the logistical details than on the creative process of design and planning for the model. Now, finally, on Saturday, 15th of September 2012, LEGOLAND Malaysia opens to the public. I was among the thousands of excited guests, waiting since early in the morning to get into the theme park. And at 10 a.m., the gate finally opens. My first stop, visiting my babies in Miniland, of course. Now, babies are parents' highest priority, no matter what shape and form the babies take, or what the baby was made of, in my case. In Miniland, I finally get to see firsthand the interaction between our Lego models and the theme park guests. Like, their excitement and wonder apparent, sharing their new discoveries in this beautiful world of Lego to each other. Kids could be heard calling out to parents, "Mom, Dad, look! That's the building we passed earlier downtown." Another could be heard saying, "Did you see the guy falling off Angkor Wat?" Or, "Wow, they really just used the small bricks to build KLCC." I simply couldn't stop smiling. Like an idiot, like, hey, To actually see what effect models we produced has to the guests was really humbling. Never in a million years could I have imagined this happen. But the most beautiful part is to achieve this milestone as part of a team. Not just the local team, but part of the global Merlin Magic Making team and Merlin Entertainments based around the globe who was involved in different capacities at different stages of this project. None of this would be possible without a functioning, well-coordinated team working towards the same goal. The roles are paid to people around me, suggestions and ideas put forth, any form of support I might have extended. Those same gestures were extended to me countless times throughout their journey. At any given point, they have been sharing the Lego elements they have in their toolbox, and I did my best to reciprocate. Using these Lego elements, we interconnected and built on top of each other, not only in the sense of the models we delivered, but also in developing our individual capabilities and building our team. We ourselves have become Lego elements that interlocked in making this complicated model called a team a reality. And together, we could then extend our Lego-filled hands, not only to people around us, but beyond that, by offering memorable experiences, motivation, inspiration, and endless other possibilities, both to those who seek them as well as the unsuspecting ones. This is where the circle completes itself. Being somebody who decided to take action based on the influence you have in effect become a source of influence yourself. So, that was the introduction. Sorry it took so long. I guess I'm just really easily excited. Now, let's go to the meat of this talk. What's my point here? I say there's a really important underlying life lesson that we can get from observing the mechanics and principles of Lego as a toy. The lesson: how do we take this bunch of random Lego pieces given to us, taking the most common pieces and use it in the most creative and forward-thinking way to create a masterpiece so wonderful and amazing is able to inspire and benefit people who are able to see, touch, experience, and appreciate it. So life is a lot like Lego. Oh, it's my playtime. So, would you accept this Lego brick and come play with me? Thank you.